Welcome to Floppy Friday number 5, and this is Kian bringing you a couple of floppy disks on an old Commodore 64. So this is a game I've just preloaded, so you don't have to see what's involved in loading it. It's quite a long one to load. This is Light Flash is not the game. That's the cracker, the importer, not sure which anyway. But essentially, the game is Rastan, which you can see in really little letters there. We'll go ahead and load it. This is an interesting one. I did load it briefly earlier to give it a quick try. So not sure why it makes that noise as it starts, but let's see. Anyway, the game itself is pretty interesting. I can switch. The only thing I can do at this stage, I can switch between music and FX. I'll leave it on music. I don't think it's too disturbing. Now, this is a joystick game. Now, I'm still using the old joystick. I've got the exciting news is I've got 3 joysticks coming in the post, probably tomorrow. So once I found somebody had posted some old joysticks online. One of them's a Sinclair joystick, which is quite interesting. It'll have the adapter, so I can use it with the Commodore, but it should also work on a Speccy that I've got. I've got a Spectrum here. I don't think I've got a joystick adapter for that, but I'll have to see if I can find one, because then I could use it for that as well, which is all very good. All right, so here now, what did I find? I actually had to switch to player 2 for this to start for some reason. Not sure why. Anyway, you can see the animation is not exactly state of the art, even for those days, with the legs moving. To jump, I have to put the joystick up in the air. So there's a little bit of a chasm for me to. Oh, okay, just coming up. All right. The timing is it is a little on the slow side in terms of responsiveness. You do have to anticipate a little bit, and then this I can go down, but there's nothing actually down there. Oh yeah, all right. Oh, that's interesting. Don't know if anybody's played Rastan. I hadn't ever heard of it. This looks like some sort of barbarian figure. This is going to be, doesn't like water for some reason. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get past that water, because it looks like it takes a little bit more control than I seem to have. Again, whether it's the joystick or me remains to be seen. I see. I'm not quite getting it. Anyway, never mind. I think this is probably all we're going to see of this game. There's not that much going on here. I'm not going to play through more than that. So let's call that one a day. Let's stop that. I probably should have put the FX on rather than the music. But anyway, the other thing that I'm going to be trying to do over the next couple of weeks is fix this drive. So this is the original kind of 1541. This one, the one that's working, is a 1541-2 or II. This original 1541, it seems to mostly work until you try and load something, and then you get the flashing error light, which is a bit frustrating. Now, apparently, that can be one of 2 chips that have gone wrong. I've got one of them coming by post, which I'm going to try and swap out the one of those. I don't have an oscilloscope or the electronic skills to sort of be able to diagnose whether that's really the problem. So it was like a 70 pence chip to buy from an online site in the UK, so I didn't mind buying it just to try it out anyway. But anyway, so that's the big news on that front, in the sense I'm going to try and get this one working. The reason I'm going to try and get it working is that I have a sneaking suspicion that this drive is not completely functional. I've also got a diagnostic cartridge coming from the UK, got that online for £20, which will allow me to do some diagnostics against the drive, both that drive and then this drive as well. So that's all very exciting. I'm getting a few bits and pieces here and there. which is cool. The other thing that eventually I'm going to do is get a new video cable. This one I've managed to fiddle with it a little bit. If I leave the coax input, if I pull it out far enough, it gets rid of a lot of the blurring that we were having before, but it's still not perfect. So I am going to get a new video cable because those things do degrade over time apparently as well. So it's quite expected that it wouldn't be working. Anyway, so this is the game I really wanted to show everyone, and I found it earlier on. A couple of days ago, I started playing it. Now this is called Druids. I started, well, as soon as I loaded it and I started playing it, I just had this, crazy bit of deja vu. It just felt like Gauntlet, which was a video game. So again, this is something I mentioned on Twitter the other day. Gauntlet is one of the arcade games that was, for me, just completely amazing growing up. It was just brilliant. You had this 4 joysticks. It was a four player, concurrent 4-player game where you could have, your warrior, your Valkyrie, your elf, and your wizard, I guess, or wizard or mage. Anyway, those 4 characters. 1 to 4 of those characters in kind of like a dungeon, going through and killing various monsters and collecting treasure. And I was really into, the whole D&D, Lord of the Rings, fantasy kind of scene. So for me, Gauntlet was just like, wow. I was so, it was just one of those games which I could just watch people playing it or play it if I had the money forever. It was just, so cool. So yes, so they didn't do Gauntlet on most of the 8-bit systems. I don't think so. Anyway, this Druids is a Gauntlet ripoff. Basically, it's like it was either heavily inspired by Gauntlet or I mean, you'll see when you see it. When you see it, I don't know if any of you have played Druids either, but for me, when I saw it, I was like, oh wow, this is really cool. I think you can control 2 characters at the same time. You can control the druid and you can control a golem as well. But I haven't done that myself so far. Anyway, I've only really played it with the keyboard controls rather than using the joystick. because I'm still trying to avoid using the joystick when I can. And this one does have some keyboard mapping. So. Again, this is cracked. The world famous dynamic duo does read a bit like dynamic dud with that font, but anyway, go on. Cracked on the 13th of September 1986. Press space. So Druid. So it's a Firebird game. I don't know who Bob is. That's in the top right there. It's just an initial graphic. Yeah, that's kind of cute. All right, so Firebird present Druid, etc. Press fire to start. Now, as far as I can tell, let's see if I can remember the keys for this. Right, ZX. Right, so you can see straight away. So there's ZX, and then I think those. There we go. Down, up, down. Perfect. Now you have so there's no golem at the moment anyway. By the looks of things, I don't have a golem, but I just have to go through and kill these ghosts who regenerate. It is so heavily inspired by Gauntlet. It's just ridiculous. Oh, I mean, so here. Oh dear. Right. So here's a treasure thing. Now here I get the choice. I think I can get any of these. So water, fire, electricity, key, and invisibility. So I can essentially choose which one I want. At the moment, I've been using water as an attack. I've got 24 of those left, and then fire and electricity. I each have 50 of them at the moment. I don't have a key. I do have an invisibility thing, so I'm actually gonna. I don't know. I'll go with the key. Let's see what that brings. I don't actually expect to be playing this long enough that we're going to need many of these things. But yeah, we'll just go around a little bit. I used to love Gauntlet, really loved it. That's one of those games that if I had a, you know, I'm very jealous of Lee Ambrosius and his arcade game collection at home. But if I had a choice, I think that is one game that I would have at home, and I could totally imagine playing that with the whole family. It would just be brilliant. But yes, anyway, so I won't. Oh gosh, I'm dead now. Anyway. Just trying to find the keys again. There's a bit of a peculiar mapping. Alright, anyway. I think I'm going to die. Alright, I think we're going to call it a day with that. I think I'm going to have to turn it off there. That's it for today's Floppy Friday. Thank you for joining. And I hope everybody who's joining from the US had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And see you next week. Okay, thanks. Bye.